Question everything, for the truth should not be televised, and that's for sure. So with that, it's the so-called Black History Month, the so-called Aboriginal Negro History Month this month, the shortest month of the year, 1 month out of 12, and we the only ones that seem to have this 1 month for our history, as if our history is not long. Being one of the oldest bloodlines on earth, coming from one of the oldest lands, coming from the oldest land on earth, right here in the Americas as the Aboriginal Niggros of America, having that we have the oldest waters here, the oldest lands here, or rocks, as well as the oldest trees here. You can actually look that up yourself and you'll find that they're right here in the Americas, because you got up top, middle, and below, North, Central, and South America. We don't talk about it like that, but it is a whole piece, a whole pie. And when you think about this month here, February, and you think about them celebrating and having us celebrate history, our history, in this quarantine box of just going back to being POWs or enslavement camps, chattel slavery, seems as if we can't go no further. Like we wasn't here when you look up the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Incas, the Olmecs, and all of them, and see the writings on the wall that there was our people. We don't connect the two here, nor do we talk about the different thousands of pyramids that was here and still here, covered up and hidden all throughout America. We don't talk about the real history of America from nowhere, and then at the same time we pretend that all other lands had Aboriginals that look like us, but somehow America didn't have Aboriginals that look like us. We just sort of let all that fly away when it comes to this history here, and we stay isolated in the box talking about history, and a lot of times we talk about history with people still here. We doing history about people that's still on the planet, and it's like that they're still making history. They still alive doing it. Why are we talking about them? We should be talking about our forefathers and what they've been through to get us to where we at, to be able to do what we doing, to still be in the struggle that we in right now as we speak, because it hasn't stopped. We haven't been liberated. We haven't been uplifted and pulled out of our oppressors, inheritors, and their system of white supremacy and control over us, economically, politically, you name it. We haven't been able to move that bar away from one another in order to reestablish ourselves as a nation of people. And this is where we at. Because you don't hear Africa talking about they got 1 month of history in Africa for their people. I'm pretty sure they teaching their history all year round, every day. History, the present, and going into the future. Same thing with any other barrel. I mean, we seem to be the only people that gets this 1 month to speak about selected choices of what we should talk about. Why is that? It's like it's a controlled narrative of our historic value on who we really are, keeping us isolated from our real truths to be able to bring out some of the real realities of what really been going on here in America, and how they went down in America, and how they still going down in America, how we still surviving our oppressors, inheritors who maintain our suffering. We still surviving it. We haven't been liberated, so we still surviving. We haven't been separated from it, so we still surviving. We're one nation under their guard being crushed. That's just what it is. So when we think about history, we still trying to make history right now as we speak as a people. Because we're still trying to get liberated. We're still trying to get separated. We're still trying to get reparative justice, restoration, restored back into our nobility. Reparative justice, repaired back into our circumstances of being our own nation. Reparations in the form of money and land being able to give us back what was taken from us in the form of land, and giving us the wealth back to be able to mechanize and build our land back into a nation of people that we are, under our own authority, under our own government, like we were when they met us here in the wilderness of North America as the Aboriginal Niggros of America. These are real truths that we need to be about when it comes to making history, instead of allowing them to have us celebrate history that don't separate us from the oppression that we are still under. That's just the reality to it. We don't get half the information on who we are and what we are and what we was doing here in America, because they keep all those artifacts and all that stuff hidden into private collections in their own homes, Smithsonian and many other different places, cuff that stuff up under the rug, selling it on auctions and stuff behind closed doors amongst themselves to the wealthy elite. This is where our history at. We need to take all that back. We need it all. And then we need to build it into something that we can boil off onto the future for our own nation. I'm not talking black and brown, Asian, addict, and all. I'm talking us, Aboriginal Niggros of America. Those who went through that chopping field trying to survive to have our bloodline to be able to speak to one another the way we are right now. Those that still understand what it means to be worried and looking over your head every which way, because you never know when boop, 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 Slave Patrol pulling up on you and want to throw you back in those shackles by all means necessary, or even worse than that, right off the planet. So at the end of the day, we still under siege 100%, because you can't have that many brothers as well as sisters being locked down and then turn around and say you're doing good under the people that came to do this to you in the first place, and that's bringing destruction to your whole bloodline. This is just that reality. And these are some of the things that we ignore when we ignore the fact that our history is not just 1 month. Our history is all year round. Our history is what makes the world go round, because we're the original people, the melanated people of the world. That's just what it is. That's just what it is. So when we break down and talk about real history, we want to try to grab it all back. Everything, anything that got any type of attachment with us on it, we want it back. You know what I mean? Because they're not talking about it like they're supposed to talk about it. When we should. When we look at the Swarty brothers and sisters that was up there, the Moabites that was up there in Spain, in Portugal, and in Europe, and all those years they was up there, we forget they was the same ones that came over here. No doubt. They already knew it was over here. The city of gold, all that stuff was popping. But we don't even talk about that no more. We don't talk about half the stuff that they saw here, half the stuff that they met here. Because why? It's us. It's us. That's why. Our history goes long. Real long. More vast and more, broad than anything when it comes to what we're pushing under this 1 month. That's just real talk. And we force feeding it all in as quick as we can, because we only got 28 days. Go figure, right? While everybody else got all year round to talk about theirs, coming from their countries, coming from their governments, coming from their lands, when we sitting on our lands being grinded in the dirt. Can't talk about nothing. Even now, as we speak, the so-called freedom of speech is being snatched right from up under our feet. This is just the reality to it. So with that, just know history is long, especially when it comes to the Aboriginal Niggros of America, and that's something we need to continue to build on, because we go from one spectrum to the next spectrum to the next spectrum, and we can't skip no beat, because when it comes to us, we need everything that represents us in order to bring it to our children as a collected reality to where we going into the future. Because right now, I just don't get it. I just don't understand it. But that is the question. You let me know. Praise, praise.